Thank you, guys. So the idea now is that Jose can present news about the company. Jose, are you ready for that?
Yes, definitely. Hello, everybody again. So let me share my screen.
Great.
Please confirm if you see my screen.
Yes, Jose.
Okay, cool. So everybody, thank you again for the time. I will start with a very briefly update on the strategy. So we are, as we can see here, we continue giving a lot of effort and efficiency at the end. This is a long-term play. It's a long-term game, and we think that it's absolutely special to have and a specialization in some of the value of the steps of the value chain of the cannabis to be success in the future. And we decided at some point that we are going to be more focused on transformation and extraction. It means that we are not continue to be fully vertically integrated. However, we have a lot of assets in other parts of the value chain. Specifically in cultivation, we continue to operate the cultivation side in Guatavita, but we are not going to do that alone. We invited a company that is well suited, that is already operating some cultivation assets in Uruguay. They have already exported premium flower to Australia, to Europe, and the idea is that we are going to work together on a profit model agreement with this company. The name of the company is Ivy. And they are going to invest, they're going to put money, they're going to put resources, and we together are going to improve the conditions of Guatavita, and that give us the opportunity to focus again more on extraction and transformation. We think is the core and the future of Blueberries Medical Corp. The second point, given the necessity of having access to premium flower, as the plan with Guatavita may take probably 1 year or 2 years to have that operation GACP certified and everything. In that case, we signed very good contracts and agreements with people that is already CUM certified, GACP certified. So basically, we have two operations that are very close partners of Blueberries. One is Plena, it's very close to Bogota, it's in Nemocon, and the other one is Pharma Col. They are in the northern part of the country, in the coast. So we have access to different land conditions, different climate, different genetics, and those companies are going to operate a contract growing model. So we are going to have our genetics, and that those companies are going to grow our flower or biomass. Given the scale of these companies, the cost at the end is even lower than the cost that we are going to have and that we are having in Guatavita. So we're going to have some sort of savings also in this plan. And the most important, and what I think is important to have in mind, is that we already have access to GACP certified batches. Again, Guatavita, which is the first plan, it's going to take 1 year, 2 years to have GACP certified operations with the standard that the other partners that we already found are granting. So we right now have access to lower cost and already certified biomass. And the third is we don't have the full set of equipment yet installed. There's a big investment that will be at some point necessary to have distillation, crystallization. We at this moment are only operating the CO2 structure because of the equipment that we have so far. So we decided to partner and get some allies in Colombia and even in other countries to complement at some point the portfolio. So we are selling right now basically the things that we can produce, but we have a greater diversity of products coming from some partners that allow us, for example, to have THC distillate that we cannot again produce internally, but we can sell that. And we're partnering with companies that can help us to get access to that distillate. And it's the same happening in other products, like, for example, the CBD isolate. So again, efficiency, having the opportunity to get access to premium and low-cost flower. And third, extending the opportunities to commercialize products that we produce in first place, but also second, getting products from other companies, and we distribute those in order to increase our sales. The goals for the coming months probably are not different from the previous meeting that we had. We continue working in 3 specific pillars. So operate with efficiency continue to be very important. We kept all the expenses as minimum as possible. We control definitely the capex. We are just investing in things that are totally connected with demand, with product that we can produce or products that we can sell. and we have a very strict control of the cash flow. In a couple of slides later, you will see the decrease of the general expenses that has dropped dramatically over the past 2 years. The second important and fundamental of the company is connect with demand. So we are totally focused on selling, but not necessarily selling everywhere. We are focused on selling primarily in Australia. We have very good agreements that are going to be in place very soon to ship products to Australia. It's a big market. It's a market that is developed. The same in Latin America and in specific countries, like, for example, Argentina and Brazil. Those are the two main current buyers of our products in Latin America, and also Colombia, obviously. And we are also working very close to sign some deals in Germany and Israel. Again, we are a totally export orientation, but not necessarily pointing to every single country. We are really, really focused on a specific country that we think we have the right to win. And we have very fast-track pipeline in those key markets, primarily selling the things that we can produce. There is at some point restricted to the capacities of our Vitalis, but also selling products that we, again, as I explained before, we buy from our partners, or we work together with our partners to produce those in collaboration, and then we sell that to these markets that I explained. And the third one, which is something already in the DNA of a company, is make the things differently. So basically, as I mentioned, we now are partnering with people that grow the flower for us instead of cultivating by ourselves. Again, getting better cost, high quality. So partnering with other companies in different steps of the value chain is something very important. Think a little bit different from the vertically integrated model that we explored at the very beginning, and that many other companies in Colombia are exploring, but it's not necessarily the way to success. And focus on high value added processes and high value added products. And not only for medical purposes, we continue to have a core in the medical side of the business, but we're also extending that primarily to well-being and even to consumer good products. And then you will see later what type of products are we developing, for example, not only for pharmaceutical applications, but also, for example, for food and beverages. Important to highlight the revenue streams. So we continue having 5 key revenue streams. The first one is selling of flour. Now that we have access to flour that is already certified with the highest standards in Colombia and internationally, we are selling that flour locally. So we buy that flour for our internal extraction purposes, but we can also sell that, and we are doing that, selling to our companies that don't have access to these contracts, growing agreements. And we are starting to explore the opportunity to export that flour also to other countries, primarily THC flour, JCP from one of the 2 cultivators that I mentioned, the one that is in the northern part of the country, in the coast. We are selling, but we're very close to sell that THC flour into Macedonia and Germany. Those are the countries that we are exploring. So it's a very high quality flour that is grown by our third parties, and at the end we sell that as Blueberries to some international customers. The second one is services. Services is we put our Vitalis, which is again the big asset that we have right now in production, to be servicing other licensed producers in Colombia. We're probably the only big company in Colombia doing that with a CO2 big structure. There are plenty of ethanol, very small scale operations in Colombia that are servicing also third-party cultivators, but we are probably the only one in a CO2 platform. And that help us not only to get some revenue, is at some point right now the second size in the revenue streams, but also give us the opportunity to learn what our genetics, what our products are outside. So give us a lot of intelligence, competitive in terms of learning better the whole Colombian landscape of genetics, strains, and businesses of our business partners. The third one, ingredients and specialty, definitely is the most important right now. I will then in the next slide explain a little bit more about 3 products that we are selling in this moment very aggressively. So ingredients is the core, as I mentioned. We develop some products internally. The others, we work with partners to produce that in collaboration agreements. But basically what we sell is full spectrum and broad spectrum on the CBD and non-psychoactive range of the cannabis. Isolate primarily CBD. water-soluble CBD powder. This is something highlighted, but it's a very recently developed product with a lot of good performance comparison with the things that you find in the market. And we also have THC resin and distillate, which we think is going to be very important in 2023. There is a lot of demand on THC right now, not necessarily in CBD. CBD is every single day more complicated in terms of the price and the demand. Probably the water soluble is something that we will be very successful, and then again I will explain later why we have something very different and unique on the CBD water soluble powder. But definitely THC is the core and the focus on ingredients and specialties. Outsourcing, just to make it very clear, the products and the APIs that we produce in ingredients and specialties, we in some cases use those ingredients to go a little bit further. So we contract some third-party companies that they manufacture final products. It started with cosmetics, but we are now extending that primarily to food and beverages. And we are working with specific customers, primarily in Latin America, not to sell the ingredient only, but to sell the final product. And again, cosmetics and food applications, basically chocolates. It's the things that we are already having in this moment with continuous pipeline. And the last one, which is also very important, is compounding formulations. We started producing final formulas. We are more a B2B company. We are not really a B2C. We don't have a powerful brand in front of the patients, of the consumers. However, we produce some formulas in Colombia, both CBD and THC, and we are now extending that compounding formulation model to Brazil. But we're not going to sell the product as a Blueberries product. We're partnering with big companies in Brazil, people that already have access to doctors, to patients, to patient associations. And we're going to produce the product, the compounding formulation, both CBD and primarily THC. And then our partner is going to distribute that using their channels and using their powerful platform of sales, primarily in Brazil. So those are the five. I go very quickly. If any question is totally able to be answered. And again, the ingredients and specialties right now is the most important. I would like to highlight three products that are, again, the core of the company. THC distillate, so we get our flower that we contract with our growing partners, and we extract that in our facility. At some point, we need to have the distillation. We partner with companies that has the equipment of distillation, and we produce resin or distillate of high THC. It's something, again, that I mentioned before. We plan to send the first shipment to Australia in few weeks, and we're doing the same also with Chile. Those are the countries that we will be exporting THC distillate very, very soon. The second part of the screen is the non-psychoactive. So we have CBD isolate. It's the most commonly traded product in the world. We produce that using a partner in the US, and we produce above 99% CBD. It's GMP food supplement coming from the US, and we're selling already that in different countries. We started with Latin America. And just to give you some figures, right now we have exported so far almost 100 kilos of this product to Argentina. And we expect that the demand of that product in the next year will be ramping up at least 5 times that volume, at least. And the third one is the water soluble, which is a specialty product that we produce in Colombia using the CBD isolate. It's a product that different from, let's say, Vertosa or Source product, is not necessarily an emulsion. It's a powder that gives us the opportunity to have a larger shelf life of the product and an easier application in the final product, and also has a translucent effect that is superior to any other product that we have found in the market. So the translucent allow us to put that in multiple products, and also has a reduce of note flavor that is also giving us the opportunity to compete with a big right to win in CPG products. I'm speaking about beverages in whatever the markets is allowing to put CBD in those type of products. The sales projection. So we started pre-operational stage in 2020. We made some sales basically more on the agronomical side. So we sell some cuttings in 2020. 2021, we started making some B2B services that I explained before, and we started selling some products to Peru. And now 2022, sorry, is the year that we are really getting some traction on sales. We have exported again to Argentina big amounts of isolate. We're going to start putting some THC in Chile and in Australia, and we think we're going to close the year around 400,000 Canadian dollars, which is growing our sales versus 2022 by 3 times. The plan is to continue growing our sales and the revenue in the same track, at least for 2023. So the plan in 2023 is close about 1.2 Canadian million dollars. And in 2024, the target that we have is at least to get to 2.5 million. The other part of the equation is not only selling, this is something we are already doing, but also controlling the expenses. So as you can see here in the left part of the chart, the general and administrative expenses have dropped significantly. We spent a lot of 2019, 2020, 21, we make a lot of control, and now in 22, no matter that we're increasing our sales and we are increasing our capacities, we are probably ending the year with the same expense that 2021. The headcount has also been reduced. Those numbers that you see here has decreased over the year, and now in this 35, we also have the people that are now being paid by EV, for example, in cultivation. Just the number of people that are working in Blueberries, extraction and production is not more than 20 people. So we are definitely contracting the operation, keeping the minimum staff in order to be success and hopefully closing or getting closer to a break even next year. And as you see also here, the total cost per month has dropped significantly. We started spending a lot of money, and now we are very, very efficient on the expense. You see here in the right part that we are decreasing the loss every single year at a very high rate. And we expect that the decrease in the loss again versus 2021 in this year is almost 35%, 37%. And this gives us the opportunity, hopefully, to get the closest to break even in 2023, which I think is, we are probably one of the very few companies in Colombia that will be able to do that. Many people are still spending a lot, selling very, very few in their efforts. And now we are, again, probably very close to get break even next year. That will be, again, very few companies are in that capacity. I mentioned that we are totally focused on high value added ingredients, like for example, the water soluble powder, but we continue having all the control of the genetics. No matter that we are now cultivating with third-party contract growers, that they have better access to land, they have bigger facilities, they have more money probably at some point. We continue being the owner of the genetics. We continue having 149 proprietary strains, some in CBD, some in THC, as you can see here. We are having already registered 4 CBD. We don't think that CBD is going to be the hot topic in the next couple of months. So we are more now focused on THC. As you can see here, we have 9 genetics registered in THC, and 4 of them, which is very important, already have the quotas from the government. So we have access to get commercial agreements using 4 of the 9 registered genetics. And the capacity that we have in Guatavita, that we continue to have the ownership of that of the land and all the licenses, is that we can develop new genetics whenever it's necessary. Right now, we think that with those 4 in CBD and 9 in THC, we're perfectly covered. But whenever it's necessary to have, I will say, a 1-to-1 ratio or 1-to ratio, 1-4 ratio, whatever is necessary, we can do it because we have the capacity to develop and make breeding and processes using Guatavita facility and the licenses that we have at Blueberries. Again, going back to the core, processing and extraction, we are moving the facility. We used to operate a very big facility, 30,000 square meters, square feet, sorry, and now we are moving to something smaller, 7,500 square feet, which again is continuing to be huge, but it's more effective than operating something 3 or 4 times bigger than that. And that area specifically of 5,500, there is an area around 5,000 that will be upgraded to be fully GMP pharmaceutical standard. And the idea is in that facility, we're going to produce all the range of the product that right now we are producing in some cases, but buying outside in the cases, for example, of the distillate and the isolate. So again, we're going to install the Vitalis that we already are operating, but we're going to add some other capacities to produce everything that we sell. The plan in 2023 is not buying outside; is producing everything that we can sell, which is what you see here. In 2022, we are again only making crude extraction with the Vitalis, with the CO2 extractor. The other things we necessarily use partners to produce distillate or to produce isolate. In 2023, the idea is to produce everything internally. And again, the focus will be THC distillate, CBD isolate, and CBD water powder solution specialty. And the idea with that facility that we are already selected, the contract of the new place is already signed. We already have control of that land. We are going to start making the construction designs and everything in the upcoming weeks. And the idea is that by the end of 2023, that facility will be certified by Anvisa. Anvisa is the Brazilian sanitary authority. We decided to go to Anvisa instead of INVIMA. INVIMA is the Colombian authority because in Colombia there are not rules or guidelines to certified ingredients. Normally, Colombia, different from cannabis, is not a country very familiar producing APIs and ingredients. Brazil is, and we have a lot of current conversations with companies and bars in Brazil. So we think that Brazil is the best opportunity. We are at some point then 2024 probably approaching Europe also to have a UGMP, but right now our focus is to sell to Brazil and Argentina, which are the markets that we have right now, and specific products will be then reprocessed in Europe in order to approach other geographies. But the goal in 2023 is to get the Anvisa certification. Some milestones across the past year. So 2020, we got the licenses. We were listed in the stock exchange. We made the first psychoactive and non-psychoactive testing. The first commercial crop, it was CBD. The first cultivation cycle. We installed the Vitalis equipment in the current or previous facility, and we started the sales, as I mentioned before, primarily in cuttings. 2021, pandemic, ending of the pandemic and everything, we got the R&D approval to export genetics. We got the first THC license already registered. We got the quotas, at least for R&D, and we made the first export of ingredients, basically to Peru. We sent full spectrum oil, 5% to Peru, and we started launching that B2B services. And 2022, definitely more commercial success. We now are selling a lot of isolate in Argentina. We're selling we're very close to sell THC in Brazil, in Australia, and in Chile. We are developing this water-soluble product that is definitely something very unique. We are developing those allies in order to have access to GACP flower, which is the starting of the process at very low cost, and even not investing a lot in cultivation, because at the end is the highest investment rate in cultivation even than extraction, and we have access to people that has that investment for us. So we only contract them and not necessarily to deploy capex. And we complete the selection and the signing of a contract of the new GMP facility. Some very quick. I will go very quick. Facundo, as he introduced, he is the chairman and the interim CEO. Guillermo, who is also in the call, is our CFO, and again, I'm the president of operations and leading the operations at the end globally. And also in the meeting is Gustavo, who is our operations director. Juan Guillermo is our sales director, and Tomas, our finance director. Many of the people that you see here, including myself, we have been working in cannabis for several years. I used to work with Clever Leaves, and then I have a consultancy firm, and now I'm working with Blueberries since February 2021. Gustavo is the same. He started in pharmaceutical business, but then he moved to a company in Cali. Juan Guillermo has an experience more on selling natural ingredients coming from sugar, coming from cocoa. So it's an expert selling internationally. And Tomas used to be a finance partner in big companies, as you see the logos, and now he's helping us to move Blueberries to the next level. Some very quick overview of our board of directors: Facundo, Sebastian, Patricio, Catherine, and Joaquin. And guys, I think this is it. If you have any question, please just let me know. I'm gonna stop sharing the screen so I can see you again.
Okay, Jose, thank you for the presentation and congratulations. I think that multiplying by 3 revenues this year, it's a great achievement, and also for the cash management. You have been managing that in a good way. So congratulations for that. I think that we have a good challenge for next year, but we will support that operation. That's the reason that we will be investing in the company again, in the new facility, because as we know, the regulations and the announcement of the President Biden yesterday, it's a great opportunity. And I think that next year we will have a great year. Actually, this year is going to be a good one for us. I hope that next year we will have the break-even point. Again, congratulations for you and the management team in Colombia, that you have been doing a great job there.
Thank you, Facundo, and the team at the end. It's an effort from everybody here. We work with a lot of passion, and we really enjoy what we're doing here. It's tough sometimes, but we really enjoy and love what we're doing.
Great. I don't know, guys, is there any question?
I just want to say a deep congratulations, and it's been such a hard time worldwide with the economy, and the diligence and just sticking with it is just really commendable. So I just wanted to echo what Facundo said and add my congratulations as well. Thank you.
Thank you, Catherine.
Okay, guys. If there are no any questions, let's finish the meeting and let's keep in touch. Whatever you need, you know, I'm totally available, and just keep in touch. Thank you, guys.
Amazing.
Bye.
Thank you, guys. Have a good afternoon.
Bye-bye.
Thank
Thank
you.
you.
Bye.
Bye, thank you.